People with disabilities, what is something that non-disabled people don't understand? You can't turn it off. If you can navigate life while hiding it, that consumes more energy than you can imagine, and even then, there is a chance that you might encounter something you can't overcome. It's not selective, some days you win and some days you lose. There's no worse feeling than coming across something you physically cannot do. It's almost demoralizing, but at the same time, the feeling of overcoming the disability for a certain thing is amazing.
Can't tell you how many times I'd feel like my whole body was burning and I'd look up a set of stairs and it genuinely felt like I was trying to scale Mount Everest. The dread of how exhausting and painful it would be for such a simple task as climbing the stairs. It is demoralizing. Hell, it's dehumanizing. You just feel like you're weak and somehow less than everyone else. That's how it was for me, anyway. I always felt so ashamed. Like it was somehow actively my own fault if I couldn't walk down that hallway or climb those stairs or do those dishes or whatever it might be. I was just lazy and wasn't trying hard enough. So on and so forth. It never turns off. Not the pain and not the shame. You just live with it. At every waking moment, indefinitely. Man, that's dark, I'm sorry. I'm fine now, really, but all of the above is a completely accurate reflection of my mindset when things were at their worst.
If I can do something today, it doesn't mean I can do it tomorrow, and sometimes I shouldn't be doing anything today, even if I might be up to it. There's a really fine line between feeling okay and crashing hard, and it can be difficult even for the disabled person to navigate it.
Arg. This is a vicious cycle I'm in just now. I've been pretty much bed-bound for a week. Dishes are piling up, place needs hoovered, the contents of my laundry basket may well leap out of there and walk to the washing machine. Actually, I really wish they would. LOL. Spare bedroom looks like a tornado hit it. Stuff to take to the charity shop. So I finally wake up having slept enough and yay, I'm good to go. So I power through some of the above and guess where I'm landed for the next week or so, with it all left to do all over again next time I feel like a vaguely normal human.
I worked with someone who had a muscular dystrophy disease. She was in the early stages but progressing. All muscular dystrophy diseases are fatal. There are treatments to slow the progression but not to cure them. She looked young and healthy, so it never failed that someone would say something to her if she rode the elevator at work from the second floor to the first floor. She wouldn't even use her handicap parking tag because she didn't want to have to deal with comments or people thinking she's using it just to park closer because she's lazy. Even though she still looked healthy, she would get out of breath faster than others because her diaphragm was weakening. If she talked too much in one day, she would start slurring her words because her tongue would be tired. People forget that's a muscle too. I hate how quick non-disabled people, even some disabled people, are to judge just because someone looks healthy.
Oh man, one of the worst experiences of my life was joining a disability support group through my church. I didn't look disabled and tried to use my cane as little as possible, so most of the time I passed as abled. When I joined the group, an older woman, wheelchair-bound, let loose on me. I guess she had seen me walking around and decided I was a weasel. She yelled at me, saying I didn't deserve to be there and how dare I have the nerve to show up when I didn't belong and I clearly wasn't disabled and was just there to ogle them. My gracious response was to burst into huge blubbering tears and explain through sobs how my medical condition worked, how it wasn't visible, and how I'd faced abuse for it all my life and hadn't expected to hear it in a support group. To her credit, she found me after the meeting and apologized profusely and sincerely. She said she had no idea how hard it could be and I'd helped change her thinking. Eventually, we became friends and got brunch together about once a week. She was a very powerfully spirited woman who could complain about anything for hours, but she had a huge heart and she, eventually, I suppose, adored me. Discrimination between disabled folk is definitely a real thing. My story turned out well, but I'll never forget how I felt as I sat there while she yelled at me. Every thought, every nightmare I'd ever had about being an imposter was coming true.
Not all disabilities are visible. I'm missing a leg, but had leg issues for years leading up to it. People would treat me like I was just a wimp/winner before the amputation. Even family who watched me go through surgery. The day I told them I was getting my leg amputated, their tune changed instantly. Invisible disabilities are a whole different type of awful. The way I'm treated now is totally different. Things that used to be a giant argument, like needing a chair at work, are now easy, and nobody would even think to say no. I'll still get people giving me grief for parking in the handicapped spots. till I pull up the pant leg and they see, but I shouldn't have to do that.
Yup, a f***ed up spine like mine didn't give any visual indicators on the outside, but sure was happening that the discs in my spine were literally disintegrating from degenerative disc disease. But you don't look disabled / you're so young you can't be disabled / you're lying for attention / stop playing the disability card. I've heard it all. People are positively miserable when they don't understand something and decide you must explain it to them in excruciating detail. Refusal makes you a cold bitch. They were just asking, what's your problem? Sigh. It's exhausting. That sometimes, when we say we can't do something, we mean we can't do it. When I say I can't walk up a long flight of stairs because of a back and knee injury, I don't mean I could do it if I really wanted to, but I just don't feel like it. I mean I physically will not make it up that staircase even if I really give it my all, because my legs will simply give out. We know our own limits. You wouldn't expect somebody to be able to levitate simply by having the right attitude.
I'm blind. I'm not in pain. I don't feel sad about my situation even though it's only been 10 years. I work full-time. I have friends and interests beyond blindness and disability-related stuff. I play music, read books, although I guess it would be listening to books, travel all around the country by myself, beat everyone at trivia, work in the yard, can identify about 80 species of birds by their sounds, be the father of a child on the spectrum, and an independent parent at that, on a dumb non-service dog who is hopelessly helpless without me, funny, well-informed, and vote by myself in every election. But people will still stop their car, jump out, and try to drag me across the street when I'm standing at a corner waiting for the light to change. People will tell me they're so sorry about my condition and will pray for me. I have people who tell me they have a masseuse who can massage my blindness away. And just about everybody else wants to ask me all about being blind, and sometimes I wish I could forget I was blind because the wings of the world are so interested. Once in a while some kids will suggest that I'm faking it because I'm riding on the bus by myself and can reach up and pull the cord without looking. I guess my complaint is, I think I'm pretty cool, but in the general public eyes I often get defined by my blindness and not every other damn thing in my life, and that sucks.
That the world is just not set up for us. There are better cities than others, and plenty of progress has been made. But all major cities are just full of places that just aren't accessible.
Being a paraplegic whose dream place to visit is Italy is, yeah, woof. And a strange sense of melancholy about it because, no, it's not wheelchair accessible in the slightest, but it's also because of that which makes me want to visit it so much. I would never want them to change anything to make it more accessible because the long history behind those structures, paths, steps, etc., is what makes them so interesting and beautiful. I don't even really know how to describe the feeling. It's just seeing others enjoy something you find so wonderful, but knowing that for you to do the same would change the very nature of what it was in the first place. Watch it from a distance, appreciate the parts you can. Also, fuck beaches, I can't move in that shit. My wheelchair is equivalent to my legs. If you wouldn't go around groping other people's legs, do not mess with my wheelchair. If you would go around groping people's legs, go to therapy instead. My brother has been in a wheelchair since elementary school, and I remember the school's solution to his occasional emotional outburst was to take away his wheelchair. Thankfully, my parents put a stop to that real quick. The school viewed it as a toy when they knew damn well he couldn't move an inch without it. There's zero respect for them when they can cost over $20,000 total and hundreds to fix if someone breaks something. He has an electric wheelchair for context. Glasses don't always fix everything. I'm fully blind in one eye and 2400 in the other with a -9 prescription, and I still can't do a lot of basic things that most people can do. Stuff like noticing a friend from like 20 feet away is insanely hard, and people don't realize how much that affects disabled people mentally. Also, the classic "how many fingers am I holding up" annoys every legally blind person. And well, friends, that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know with a thumbs up so that YouTube can share these stories with more people. Remember to hit the bell icon to be the first to know when we upload a new video. See you next time.